They say aging brings wisdom, but it also brings stiffness, foggy mornings, and that quiet ache in your knees that you don't talk about at family dinners. And while your doctor might tell you it's just part of getting older, let me tell you something I've learned from spending the last 10 years listening to seniors across America and Europe, from New Jersey to Naples, from Birmingham to Boston. Those small symptoms you feel, they're whispers. Whispers of inflammation, a silent fire burning under the surface. And what you eat before bed could be feeding that fire, or putting it out. You might think, I'm eating fine, I take my walks, I've cut back on red meat. That's great, but here's the truth, even healthy habits from your 40s might not serve you well in your 70s. After 60, your body is no longer fighting the same battles. It's fighting bigger ones, slower ones. And at night, when your body is supposed to be repairing, inflammation becomes the enemy of healing. That's why tonight, right now, we're going to look at two of the most powerful, research-backed anti-inflammatory foods every senior should be including in their bedtime routine. Not in the morning. Let me take you back to a story that stuck with me. A man named Walter, he's 76 years old, lives just outside Syracuse, spent 40 years on the road as a long-haul trucker. Strong hands, weathered face, never missed a day of work unless he absolutely couldn't move. But after retirement, the stillness caught up with him. His knees began to swell, his hands ached in the morning. He told his daughter, I feel like I'm rusting. Doctors suggested painkillers, maybe injections. But Walter wanted a better answer. His daughter, a nurse, handed him a simple remedy. Golden milk. Just turmeric, milk, black pepper, and a little honey. Skeptical but curious, Walter drank it every night before bed. 3 weeks in, his hands stopped locking up. A month later, he was walking down his driveway without a cane. And here's why this works. Turmeric contains curcumin. One 2018 study in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry even showed improved memory in older adults who took curcumin regularly over 18 months. Their scans showed less brain plaque, more neural activity. That's not just comfort food. That's senior health intelligence. Now here's something even more fascinating. Curcumin absorbs best when paired with healthy fats and black pepper. And warm milk, whether it's dairy or almond, delivers just that. And when taken before bed, that's when curcumin helps reduce the very inflammation that damages arteries, joints, and memory. So instead of late-night toast or salty crackers, imagine a warm cup of turmeric milk cradled in your hands, sipped slowly while jazz hums in the background and the moonlight filters in. That's elderly wisdom in action. That's honoring your body with dignity. Now let's move to food number 2. Small, sweet, powerful blueberries. You might think of them as just a breakfast fruit, but eaten before bed, these tiny berries become brain protectors and heart defenders. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, antioxidants that not only reduce inflammation, but also promote blood flow to the brain. That's critical for seniors. A study from the University of Exeter found that older adults who consumed blueberries daily performed better on memory and planning tasks. Think about that. A quarter cup of blueberries could help preserve the way you remember birthdays, the names of your grandkids, or that favorite quote your father used to say. Let me introduce you to Eleanor, 71 years old, lives in Yorkshire. She lost her husband 4 years ago, and since then, she says the nights have felt longer than the days. Her memory started slipping. She'd forget if she'd taken her pills or whether she locked the door. Her doctor dismissed it as grief, but Eleanor knew the difference. So she took charge of her nights. She started adding blueberries to her evening yogurt. Just a few, no sugar, no syrup, just fruit. 3 weeks in, she noticed something. She was waking up clearer, calmer. Her dreams returned. She told me it's like the fog in my head began to lift. That's what elderly reflections are all about. Real people finding small solutions with massive impact. When you combine blueberries with a protein-rich food like Greek yogurt, you not only get anti-inflammatory power, but also support your muscles during rest, which matters deeply as we age. Because here's the truth, after 60, your body doesn't rebuild muscle unless you feed it correctly. And blueberries plus yogurt is one of the gentlest, smartest ways to do it before sleep. But the real magic isn't just in the nutrients, it's in the ritual. A slow evening, no screens, no news, just quiet. A journal, a candle, a small bowl of blueberries, a warm cup of golden milk. These aren't just snacks. They're a message to your body that says, you're safe, you're supported, you're healing. That's the heart of senior health. That's the power of life lessons from the elderly. So tonight, ask yourself, What are you really feeding your body before bed? Are your habits helping your heart slow down, your brain settle, your joints recover? Or are they adding more fuel to the fire of inflammation without you even knowing it? Walter and Eleanor made one simple choice each night, and that choice transformed their days. That's not a miracle. That's metabolism, that's biology, and it's available to you. Next, we'll explore two powerful nighttime foods. Ones that soothe joints, ease tension, and help build natural resilience against pain and pressure. You won't want to miss them. They may even surprise you. And if this resonated with you, I invite you to be part of our community here at Elderly Reflections. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. And please tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I read every response, and I love to hear your story. Because this isn't just a channel, this is where senior wisdom meets motivation, where quotes become truths, where science meets reflection, and where healing starts not in the morning, but with the very last thing you eat tonight. You know, there's something sacred about the silence that settles over the house after sunset. The phone stops buzzing, the kitchen's clean, and the world finally quiets down. But inside your body, something else begins. It's working, repairing, fighting. And here's the hard truth. After age 60, the most dangerous health battles don't happen when you're awake. They happen quietly, overnight, and inflammation. That's the enemy your heart, your brain, and your joints wrestle with in the dark. That's why what you eat before bed is more than just a snack. It's a strategy. If you want senior health that lasts, you don't just need good habits. You need the right ones, timed for when your body does the hard work. We started with the healing power of turmeric, milk, and blueberries, two nighttime allies that fight inflammation at its core. But tonight we continue our journey with two more deeply restorative foods. These aren't trendy superfoods or overpriced supplements. These are real, accessible choices, built on elderly wisdom grounded in science and proven by people just like you. Let me take you to a quiet town outside of Bern, Switzerland. There's a man named Heinrich, 83 years old, who still takes daily walks through the alpine trails behind his home. But just 2 years ago, Heinrich could barely get down the stairs. His joints were swollen, his ankles stiff, and each morning felt like he was walking on glass. He tried cortisone injections, but the relief was temporary. Then his doctor, an older gentleman himself, said something simple: try Tart cherry juice before bed, every night for 1 month. Now I know what you're thinking, cherry juice? Really? But here's the thing, Tart cherries contain natural compounds called anthocyanins and melatonin. That's inflammation fighting and sleep enhancing, combined in one drink. A 2012 study in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that older adults who drank Tart cherry juice twice a day for 2 weeks experienced significantly less joint pain, particularly in the knees and hips. And get this, because of the natural melatonin, they also slept longer and deeper than those who didn't. Heinrich took the advice seriously. He made it a nightly ritual, just half a glass of unsweetened Tart cherry juice, 30 minutes before bed. He paired it with a small piece of cheese for stability and warmth. And today, he's still walking those trails, still living independently, still teaching his great-grandkids the importance of listening to your body. That's the kind of motivation we need more of. That's elderly reflections in motion. Now let's talk about another quiet hero that gets almost no attention in Western evening routines. Ginger, specifically warm ginger tea. Maybe it sounds too simple, too familiar, but that's where its power lies. Ginger contains gingerol, a compound with strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It reduces muscle soreness, eases digestion, and has even been shown to lower markers of chronic inflammation, like gingery up to it. But here's what makes ginger truly remarkable for people over 65. It helps calm the entire nervous system, reducing cortisol and easing tension, right when you need it most. I want to tell you about Judith. She's 68, retired early after a long career in banking in Chicago. For years, she struggled with bloating, tension headaches, and restless sleep. She tried over-the-counter meds, yoga, acupuncture, nothing stuck. Until one day, while visiting her sister in Oregon, she was handed a mug of fresh ginger tea with lemon and honey before bed. No caffeine, no chemical, just warmth, roots, and intention. And for the first time in months, Judith slept through the night. No racing thoughts, no aches, no 3 a.m. tossings. She's been drinking it every evening since. A small mug, a quiet room, no screams, just peace. One clinical trial from 2020 found that participants over 60 who drank ginger tea daily reported released joint pain and lower inflammation markers within 6 weeks. Imagine that, Relief not from a bottle of pills, but from a humble cup of tea. That's not just health, that's life lessons from the elderly. Choosing slowness, choosing care. And that brings me to something important. These evening rituals are not just about nutrition. They're about reclaiming your evenings with purpose. Many seniors I speak to in the US and across Europe say their nights are the loneliest time. Dinner is over, family's busy, the house is still. But that's exactly when you need to treat yourself like someone worth healing. Ginger tea, tart cherry juice, blueberries. These aren't trends, these are invitations. Small gestures that say, I still matter. My body still matters. And every time you make that choice, you strengthen the very systems, cardiovascular, neurological, immune, that keep you living well. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you slowed down before bed? Not just shut off the lights, but actually nourished yourself in that quiet hour. Are your nights peaceful, or are they rushed, forgotten, or filled with foods that sabotage your rest? Because I'll tell you this, in the stories I've heard, from seniors in Colorado to Calabria, the people who age with grace don't chase youth. They cultivate care, and they do it night by night with humble routines and powerful food choices. Before we wrap up, here's something simple I want you to try tonight. 1 cup of tart cherry juice, or a mug of warm ginger tea. Make it part of your wind down. Dim the lights, light a candle, add a calming quote on the walls, something that reminds you that healing doesn't end with daylight, it begins in the dark. Up next, we'll uncover the final food in our anti-inflammatory arsenal, and it might be the most surprising one yet, one that's unexpected, affordable, and surprisingly powerful for restoring strength and reducing risk of heart complications after age 60. We'll also talk about how to build a consistent evening rhythm that transforms not just your sleep, but your mindset. If this video brought you clarity, hope, or even just a quiet moment of reflection, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from tonight? Are you UK, the States, Canada, somewhere else? Your story matters. And if you believe in the power of elderly wisdom and the beauty of second chances in health, then join this community, like, subscribe, and tap the bell. Because on Elderly Reflections, we don't just share tips, we share stories. And every senior story, your story is worth telling. There's a moment late at night when the world feels like it's holding its breath. The street outside is still, the lights in the house dim, and for a few precious minutes, you're alone with your thoughts. That stillness is where healing begins, not just physically, but emotionally too. And for seniors, especially those over 60, it's in that hour that your body decides how you'll feel tomorrow. Will your joints ache? Will your thoughts be clear? Will your heart beat steadily or strain against the noise of inflammation? So far, we've uncovered 4 powerful allies in the fight against inflammation: turmeric milk, blueberries, tart cherry juice, and warm ginger tea. But there's one more food, one last quiet hero that almost no one talks about at bedtime. But it's the kind of food that builds strength from the inside out, calms the nervous system, and gives your heart what it needs to rest. You probably walk past it at the store, but tonight it might just become your most important ritual. I'm talking about leafy greens, but more specifically, baby spinach, served warm. Now I know what you're thinking, a salad at bedtime? But hear me out. Spinach isn't just a vegetable. It's a mineral delivery system loaded with magnesium, potassium, vitamin K1, and nitrates that help widen blood vessels and reduce blood pressure. For seniors, especially those managing hypertension or early signs of heart disease, this is vital. And here's the twist. Magnesium is best absorbed at night. Why? Because your body does most of its repair work while you sleep. Give it the right fuel, and it goes to work. Deny it, and the healing slows down. Let me tell you about Gloria. She's 74, lives alone in British Columbia, and used to suffer from nighttime leg cramps so painful she'd wake up gasping. Her doctor gave her magnesium supplements, but they upset her stomach. Then one day her neighbor, an 86-year-old retired nurse, shared her secret: a warm sautéed spinach bowl before bed. Nothing fancy, just a handful of baby spinach leaves, a drizzle of olive oil, a sprinkle of sea salt, and a sliced boiled egg. Gloria gave it a try. Within 10 days, her cramps were gone. She slept deeper. She woke up steadier. And the most amazing part? Her blood pressure dropped by 12 points at her next checkup. That's not hearsay. That's elderly wisdom meeting evidence-based science. Spinach doesn't work alone. The olive oil provides healthy fats that enhance absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. The egg adds protein, selenium, and vitamin D, all crucial for post-60 health. And the ritual itself, the calm preparation of something warm and green at the end of the day, tells your body you are still worthy of care. So now we've come full circle. 5 anti-inflammatory foods, each working in harmony. Turmeric milk to calm the brain and blood vessels. Blueberries to protect the memory. Tart cherry juice to ease pain and deepen sleep. Ginger tea to relax the nerves and soothe digestion. And spinach to feed the blood, the bones, and the heart. But let's step back for a moment, because it's not just about the foods. It's about the rhythm, the ritual, the choice to treat your body as a living thing, still full of potential. Every senior I've ever met who aged gracefully didn't do it through luck. They did it through quiet discipline, through routines, through consistency. I think of George, an 82-year-old former architect from Virginia. After his wife passed, he told me he lost all motivation to care for himself, ate frozen dinners, slept at odd hours, until one night he found a notebook she had left behind. Inside was a list of their evening meals. Nothing extravagant, just simple rituals. Warm tea, half a banana, 1 egg on toast, and at the bottom she wrote, "The body heals in the quiet. Don't forget that." George cried, and then the next night he started cooking again. Not for performance, not for show, but for care. A bowl of spinach, a warm drink, a piece of fruit. His sleep improved, his balance improved, his memory returned. Slowly, day by day. That's what we mean by life lessons from the elderly. That healing doesn't need fanfare. It just needs intention. So now I ask you, what will you choose tonight? Will you feed your body or starve your strength? Will you chase convenience, or will you take 3 minutes to prepare a plate that honors the heart still beating inside you? Here's your roadmap. Using 2 or 3 each night. Maybe it's a mug of ginger tea with a kiwi, or spinach and a few blueberries, or just one done with care. Listen to your body, it will tell you what it needs. And one last reminder, avoid the traps, the salty crackers, the sugary cereal, that extra glass of wine that tricks you into sleep but robs you of rest. After 60, the things we consume in silence echo loudly in our health. Every bite is a decision. So tonight, write yourself a new habit, a new way of resting, a new legacy. And know this, the future doesn't belong to the young. It belongs to those wise enough to prepare for it. Before we end, let me ask you one final time. Where are you watching from? I want to hear your story. Tell me in the comments, what time do you eat? What foods bring you peace? And what bedtime change are you going to try this week? And if this video moved you, even a little, please like it, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and hit the bell. This is more than a channel, it's a community. A place where senior health, elderly wisdom, motivation, and inspiration come together. We share quotes, rituals, and reflections not to preach, but to connect. Because no matter your age, 60, 70, 80, or beyond, you still have chapters left to write. And what you eat before bed? That's the ink you use to write them strong. Here's to your healing, here's to your rest, and here's to the beautiful truth that it's never too late to feel better than yesterday.